Welcome to another class of Qi Gong, Tai Chi, and meditation. I say to improve your health, to prevent sickness. And I want to start today with a gentle loosening up, turning, I call it the hula bula. It's turning your hips counterclockwise. And then what I do, I grab my hands behind my back. So I grab the wrists, and then when we turn the circle the other way, we'll change the grip in the back. Nice, smooth, round circles. And right off the back, deep breathing in and out through the nose if you can. If any of the exercise, if you can't do them, tell me and I'll modify it for you specifically. Very simple. The tongue touch the roof of the mouth. That closes an energetic circuit. So we talked to two people before we start the class. One is with joint issues, one is with the autoimmune condition, and the soft, relaxing motions of the Qigong and Tai Chi helps you to relax and hopefully make a difference in relaxing the immune system if it's overreacting, or balancing if it's underreacting. So just relaxing is a huge instrument or element to allow the immune system to get better, a bit more balanced. Just people, they show studies walking to Dana Farber, it's a cancer institute here in Boston, and their natural killer cells reduce by a certain amount. So just the stress makes a difference. So it's hard to say, oh, just relax mentally, but if you can't, it's hard. So the next thing is you trick yourself and you just close your eyes and you just focus on the circle. And you meanwhile, you're massaging your hips and you're massaging your ankles. So that gets some of the joints, but also the deep level of relaxation help balance the immune system. When you relax, the heart is relaxed, the lymph system. So a lot of other systems get affected from this mental and physical relaxation. And I always say, stress is not just physical, it's also mental. So the Qigong and the Tai Chi help with both the physical and mental stress. It's a touch. It's not works always and not for everybody, but you keep trying. And over time in practice, once you're familiar with this nice, round, smooth circle, then you can close your eyes. Then you can take the deep breath. And then you find yourself in a standing, moving meditation. And when you hit those brainwaves between awake and asleep, zeta, which is where meditation is, that's when other healing happens in the body. There's a whole process. They call it happy hormones. The pituitary gland, when you reach a certain relaxed state, releases all those positive hormones versus negative ones. Then change the grip behind your back, and then now go clockwise. When you look at the soles of the feet, they don't move, they don't wobble. So then you glue the soles of the feet to the floor, and that way you get the motion in the ankles, hips. If you go to big circles, you also feel it in the lower back. You're massaging gently your lower back, your hamstring. Maybe some of you will feel in the quads or even the calf. And then the small circles are more energetic. They also massage and create movement in the small groups of muscles. So you have small groups of muscles throughout your body and big groups of muscles. When you do small motions like this, it's the small groups of muscles. And then once you go to bigger ones, the big one come into play, especially with rotation. And I try to at first maybe 2 circles inhalation while going slow, and 2 circles exhalation. And over time, as your breath gets longer and deeper, because part of what we're trying to do in my class to increase oxygen and increase lung capacity. So the constant deep breathing, challenging the lungs to 85, 90%, expands the smooth muscles from the inside out. And then you suddenly realize, oh, I can take deeper breath. So if you don't use it, you lose it. But if you use it and you demand from it, it expands and you get more oxygen moving in and the lungs expand bigger. Then, of course, if you can visualize a healing energy ball 2 inches below the navel, so that adds to the body, breath, and mind, the fourth building block, which is the energy. And if you can visualize the lower energy center as the sun, and now you're also evoking the spirit. I like to visualize the center here as the sun, one hip is the earth, one hip the moon, and both the moon and the earth rotate around the sun. And I know that the moon doesn't rotate around the sun, but in my universe, I joke, the moon and the earth, so you can do whatever 2 planets you want. And they just rotate around the sun. So like one hip, each hip is a planet, and they just rotate around the sun. Then, as one of the students mentioned, she really likes this, the windmill, but I think that's a great part of the warm-up. So you start with the hips and the ankles, then you move into rotating like this and letting the arms just relax. At first, and I don't know if I think I showed it here, but this motion is this. You see that's the Chinese drum? So it's a drum, 2 strings, and a beat on the rope on the string, and you circle, you move your palms like this, you rub them, and you move the drum. If you haven't seen it, the Chinese drum. So this is a little bit like the drum. So you rotate from the lower energy center or from the center. So that's the stick. The arms are like the 2 ropes. The palms are like the beads. And the trunk is the drum. But we start first with tapping the liver is on the right underneath the right ribs, floating ribs. The spleen is on the left underneath the left floating ribs. Kidneys are in the back. If you poke with your thumbs, wherever it's the most sensitive, that's where your kidneys are. So then I touch the liver on the right and the kidneys on the back. And then when I turn to my left, I touch with my right hand the spleen on my left and the right kidney in the back. And in between, my arms are hanging like loose, 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 loose. It's hard. And at the last second, I bend my elbow and I try to tap the center of the palm into the organ. So liver, kidney, spleen, kidney. I inhale when I'm in the center. I exhale as I tap. In and out through the nose for now. Some people like to tap. I like tapping. Some people like to touch. Either way, you give love, healing energy, warmth to your organs, in this case, liver, spleen, and kidneys. And we're going to move to the lungs after that. Then I want you to divide the lungs into 3 parts. So over the floating ribs, that's 1 part. The middle is the second, and the top is the third. So you take your palms, 3 parts. Same in the back, 1, 2, and 3. And now I'm going to touch the bottom parts of the lungs, front and back. See, this is also really nice for balance. So you can do it in a few ways. One way is you literally go from one leg to the other. You lift the back leg all the way. So that's the hardest for balance. The second way, you don't lift the legs, or you lift a little bit and you stay in the center like this in the horse stance. So that's a little easier. Then I want you to go to the middle parts of the lungs. And then the top parts of the lungs. So that way you also get a nice stretch in the back here. Very good. Then I'm going to stand on my left leg. If you need to hold on something, so that's okay. Then you can close your eyes. Or if you don't hold on, it's again, you challenge your balance. This again goes into the joints, but this is also a cleansing motion. So I rotate my right leg clockwise. The heel goes up and down, up and down. Nice rotation. I used to call it mix the cake. It's like you mix the cake with your leg. At the same time, when my right leg is rotating clockwise, I scan my body with my mind. I collect impurities and I deposit them into the earth. See, I'm not going to wait for science to tell me that the mind is powerful enough to be a part of the journey into better health and prevention. So with your mind, you scan the body, you collect areas that you know something is there, something that is hurting, pain, ache, tingling, numbness. Those are all impurities. And you lead that area down through the rotating leg into the earth. And you just deposit it there. Never hold your breath. Always keep taking deep breath in and out through the nose. Then shift your weight to the right leg and rotate your left leg counterclockwise. Scan the body, collect impurities, and deposit. For example, for me, it's the intestine since I'm a teenager. So that's why I started doing the Tai Chi. So it's much better than it was when I was a kid. And a lot of it is letting go, relaxing, self-massage, correct diet. Sometimes, certain things make it worse. So for me, I scan my body from the top. I get to the area where the intestine, stomach, and it feels there like maybe swollen or inflamed slightly or stagnant or a little different than the other areas. And I go to that sensation and I say, okay, and I breathe into it, relax it, and try to dissolve it and lead it down into the earth. I even add, sometimes I take my hand, I warm my hands, My hands are pretty warm normally, but I can make it even warmer. And then I put my warm hands on the area I want to dissolve. And that helps a lot because the warmth for my hands go there and helps dissolve the intestine, the stomach area, and create a feeling or sensation of it's just draining down into the. Then I put my mind in the center of the earth, or at least 20 feet into the earth, and I send all the impurities down deep into the earth. Good. Then now we're going to do some nourishing. So I now stand on my left leg and I rotate my right leg counterclockwise. So that brings energy up from the earth. The energy comes up through two paths. One is through the center of the bones, the bone marrows, and one is in a spiral around the legs that is rotating. I lead that energy into the lower energy center. And as I exhale, I release it and nourish the entire body, or if you want again, a specific organ or area. Then I stand on my right leg. Then I rotate the left leg clockwise. Bring that energy up from the earth into the lower energy center. Then exhale, release it into the rest of the body. And try the different. If you hold on to something, the visualization are much stronger because you don't have to worry about your balance. But again, this gets the joints, the ankle, the knee, the hip. At the same time, you're strengthening the muscles around the other leg, the leg you're standing on. Lengthen the spine up, open the chest, relax your shoulders, relax your face, head suspended from the heaven, or the head rides a cloud. I like that metaphor too. Then this I call walk like a warrior. So you can face the window, or you can do it all year. So that way it doesn't matter the weather. You don't have to go to the gym, and you walk. You walk in. I also call this going nowhere. You just go nowhere, but you stand in the same spot. There's a few things here. One, when you put your foot down, roll from the heel, from the ball of the foot to the heel. When you lift your leg up, your foot up, roll from the heel to the ball. So instead of stomping and just putting your foot down, there's a rolling. You roll, roll, roll. You roll up, you roll down. Then you try to bring your knee to as high as you can. Then the hands go opposite than the leg for now. This is nice to stimulate the heart, work on, again, stimulate the lungs, the heart. So the whole blood system, the heart pumps and you'll feel warmth afterward throughout the whole body. So it makes the stretching and the movement a little nicer. So now I do opposite hand, opposite leg. Now, both hands together up. Over time and practice, you can increase the speed. You'll get more stamina, the heart, the lungs will be able to do it, the legs, and you can do it for longer periods of time. I put 4 minutes today. But this is a nice way to get a little bit of cardio if you're not getting any. If you're a walker, if you're a fast-paced walker, so this would be easy for you. Then the next one is a little more challenging. So as I walk, I grab the elbow or the wrist behind my back. And when you put the timer and decide to do it on your own, you don't have to change the hand positions. I'm just showing you different options, but you can also change, or you can just say, okay, I'll do the same opposite hand, opposite leg for 4 or 5 minutes. Another day, maybe you say, okay, I'll try with the elbows behind my back. Find your own speed, but try to get the heart. You'll feel, I feel my heart already going a little bit faster, especially if you put your elbows behind your back, and it restricts your body and it challenges the heart a little more in the lungs. And then the last 30 seconds, that's if you want to do it, you don't have to. Be careful. Elbows over your head. If you can't grab the elbows, grasp the fingers, the wrist. So the elbows are the hardest. The fingers is the less, it's a little easier. Very good. Excellent. You feel the heart going. Then you can take a little break, sit on the edge of the chair or back of the chair with a support. Try to recuperate through the nose. So this is the time when you develop the lungs the most. When you're out of breath a little bit and you try to recuperate through the nose. If you're really out of breath, I wouldn't suggest to sit. Then I suggest you walk it. It's called like this. And as soon as you can, you inhale, exhale through the nose, and you recuperate. And that's when your lungs really develop, because you're challenging them. I'm going to share with you today an exercise I just shot this morning at Dana Farber for anxiety. About 6 different videos, but I think with this group, it's a nice one. So I sit on the edge of the chair. It could be done sitting or standing. I take my right finger and I move it along my body all the way, and I'm going to bring it out this way. Again, when I move it along my body, I do the Tai Chi sword hand forms. So the Tai Chi sword hand form is 2 fingers pointing straight, and the thumb touches the 3rd finger. So it's almost like a sword, 2 swords. You see, that's the Tai Chi sword hand. And I bring the Tai Chi sword hand up all the way from the bottom up along the center line. I get to my throat and I I do the ha sound with the mouth, exhale through the mouth. Ha. Then I bring my hands around, I scan my whole body, collect impurities, and when I scan my body, my eyes are closed. Inhale. When I exhale, I open my mouth and my eyes. Sorry. Inhale. When I was taught this, it was by a monk, a Chinese monk, and he said, Rami, the best is to stand on the edge of the mountain or up on top of the mountain, and you look down into the valley or into the canyon, and you expel and throw all your impurities down. So you inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Inhale, close your eyes. Exhale, open your eyes. Inhale, collect all the impurities, bring it up. This is also another name for it is dragon shoots the flame. So when you get to here, you're like a dragon. And just visualize yourself like a big dragon. I was just watching yesterday by accident the Harry Potter movie, and then that scene, the dragon. I don't know if it was some of those Harry Potter. I don't know, maybe it was the other one. You can also do this. Try with both hands, the sword hands, and then I bring both hands up. Then try to do it standing in the horse stance, feet parallel, shoulder width apart, toes forward. Bend the knees, tuck the tailbone in. Find your own speed, your own tempo. Don't follow necessarily my speed. Don't forget, when you inhale, move the abdomen and the back muscles in. When you exhale, let them go out. If you can't do it in one inhalation, one exhalation, go to the 2 cycles breath. So you inhale, you collect. You inhale, collect, you stop, you exhale. You inhale, collect some more. You stop, you exhale. And then you inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. So you can do more breath cycles as long as you don't hold your breath. That's the key, not to hold your breath. I want to isolate this movement of the abdominal and the back muscles. So you can do it sitting or standing. You take your hands and you put them on your abdominal muscles. You inhale, you push them in, and you exhale, you let them come out. You inhale, you push them in, and you exhale, you let them come out. At first, they'll go in and out. I call it like the skin of the drum. They just go whoop, whoop. And over time and practice, it's all it is, it's muscle control. The more you do it, you can move your abdominal muscles in a wave. The wave starts from the pubic bone, goes up to the sternum, and comes from the sternum and goes down to the pubic bone. So the hands they really help, because like I say, the abdominal muscles, they're like more like clay, and I'm molding the clay, the shape with my hands. You know, when you make pottery, you can't just let the clay rotate by itself and do nothing, unless you have a very powerful mind, I guess. But you got to use your hands to create the shape of this wave. So the hands help the muscles move in, and they hold at the bottom, and they let the top move out and the middle move out. So with your hands, you help create this wave. For some reason, every time I teach this and I look at the students, they don't move the abdominal muscle. They think they're moving it, but they don't. So make sure the abdominal muscles move in and out. It's not a mental exercise, it's physical. I mean, it's also a mental exercise, but the movement of the abdominal muscles, they're not a visualization, they're real. They really want to move in and out. In. This is very important principle in Qi Gong and Tai Chi. The movement of the abdominal muscles, first of all, by moving them in and out, you're making them really stronger and stronger. So you need strong abdominal muscles to support the spine, especially that the area between where the lumbar is, there's nothing to support this. Very small groups of muscles. So that's the weakest link in our body almost. So by moving the abdominal muscles, you make the abdominal muscles stronger, and that way they help support the spine. You're taking some of the toll off of your lower back muscles, and that helps to prevent back problems. This is great to stimulate also the energy system. So when the muscle move in and out, every time they tense, they build energy. If you visualize the lower energy center, that energy flows into the lower energy center, and you upgrade your energetic system. But another very important element of this is through movement of the abdominal muscles and the back muscles eventually, you massage the internal organs. You remove stagnation, you create flow. And movement and flow are very important in the internal organs and throughout the whole body. At first, you won't be able to move the muscles right where your pubic bone is. So put your hands there and see, can you move that area? Of course, it doesn't move as much as where the belly button is, but it still moves in and out there. The same where the sternum is. It doesn't move as much as where the center is, but it still moves. If you get a little sore in the abdominal muscle, that's good. That means you haven't moved those muscles for so long, and then just a little bit of movement is making you sore. I'll show you a trick after this. Deep breathing, the tongue touch the roof of the mouth, and try to visualize the lower energy center. Then rub your hands and circle them and help the muscles relax. Circle up through the right, into the center, and down towards the left. So this is called the internal organ massage. You can do this with both hands. I like to rub them every now and then. Again, make them nice and warm. Friction leads to heat. As I mentioned, I think I mentioned in the past, of course, if you have somebody else with really warm hands doing it to you, that's 10 times stronger because you're just going to relax. Two of my kids, you just rub their tummy like this, they fall asleep. The other two didn't work, but then you put the finger on their third eye and just touch it, it works. Or one of my sons, just put my hand around his head and it helped him fall asleep. So it also helps individual fall asleep. So let's say you lie down, you can't fall asleep. You can either use the breath, the deep breathing, or you dissolve the internal organs. So you can use both hands. You can use one hand, or you can just do it mentally. You just put your mind in the internal organs. So if you lie down, you don't have to rub your hands around the stomach while you're trying to fall asleep. And you just dissolve the internal organs and you work with the metaphor of solid to liquid and liquid to gas. Solid to liquid and liquid to gas. So that's the internal organ massage, internal organ dissolving, and also the trick to fall asleep and remove all this tension and stagnation from the internal organ. There's two areas in the body we hold a lot of tension: the face and the internal organs, and that's an obstacle for other systems, and it creates stress, as I mentioned in the beginning. Then legs together. If you like the bear swimming, I think you're gonna like this one too. So this one's called eagle flies. So the first thing I do, I rock from the ball of the foot to the heels. I don't go too far on the heels that I'm gonna fall back, and I don't go to the toes, just the edge of the ball of the foot. So the toes stay off the ground. You can even lift them and spread them. And I just rock from the heels to the ball of the foot. When I go to my heels, I stretch the balls, or what's in yoga they call the cat, angry cat. And when I go to the ball of the foot, I do the cow or release the bows. It's the spine bow and the chest bow. So stretch the bows, release the bows. Stretch the bows, release the bows. So as I go to my heels, my spine moves forward. As I go to the ball of the foot, my spine moves back. In Tai Chi, when it moves back, it stretches the bows, but it's also called turtle back. You're like a turtle. And then I'm going to add my arms to it. So as I go to the ball of the foot, my arms go back to my waist. As I go to my heels, my arms come around like the eagle's wings. Yeah, we'll go over it next time again, the eagle. When I come around here, I make the eagle claws. My thumb is by itself and the four fingers by together. So that's like the claw of the eagle. And then I straight the palms here, straight them here, open palms, and then eagle claws. Inhale, exhale, and then become the eagle. Don't just pretend that you're flying like an eagle. Make your eyes like the eagle. Pretend you're up in the sky, looking down. Inhale, exhale. In and out. So you can see today we did many different meditations. We did standing meditation, sitting moving meditation, standing moving meditation, and we did walking meditation, walk like a warrior. So I always say a good teacher should teach you sit all those kind of meditations so you realize, oh, meditation is not just when you sit down. So meditation is reaching the brainwave between awake and asleep, and you can reach it in many different ways or many different tricks or using many different principles and techniques from Qi Gong Tai Chi. Thank you very much, everybody. It was really nice to see you all again. I will see you next month. Keep practicing. You do have it recorded, so you can always go back to it and look through the teaching, because I know I teach you more than you can do and more than you know, so it's sometimes overwhelming. But I always say it's better that I teach you more and you can come back to it than less and you won't know what you're doing. So if there's any questions, I do have 5 minutes. I can answer some of your questions.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rami. I feel amazing after that.
Okay.
If anybody, we're still recording, so if you have a question, you don't want to be recorded, you can type it into the chat. Feel free to ask any questions that you might have for Rami. I had a quick question, Rami, about the exercise where we were standing on one leg and just circling the knee. Um, I
No,
started to really
no,
feel.
okay, go ahead.
I started to really feel the burn on that one, and I'm wondering, would you modify that for somebody with hip issues, or
Which hip did you feel it more
oh,
on the
both? It was like a long time to be standing on one leg.
Yeah, I mean, I did 2 minutes. What did I do? I did a minute, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. So that was 4 minutes. Yeah. So I would start with 30 seconds and each leg like that, or 10 times, and then see what you can do. But it makes me think of, if you can remind me, next next time, let's do some hip openers and just help with the hips, the area around the hips, roaring, which affects the lower back. So we'll cover some of that area. If you can remind me, I hope to remember, and I think I will. But if not, please remind me. We can work on the hips a little more than just what we did with this, and do other things, and then try the cleansing and nourishing afterward, and see if that makes a difference.
That would be so awesome. Thank you, Rami. And we got to type into the chat from Bev talking about having difficulty balancing on her toes for eagle. Anything you would say to her for that?
Yeah, you don't want to go to your toes. I mentioned it. So I know people, what they do, they go to the toes. That's no, way too far. You only go, I call it the floating 10%. So I don't go all the way to the back of the heels. I leave about 10% there. And then I only go to not even the edge of the ball of the foot, before the edge of the ball of the foot. So the toes can be off the ground and you don't even have any pressure on them. But another trick is you practice just the rocking when holding on to something until you find that space that you feel comfortable. If your heels came off the ground, you're off. No, they shouldn't come off the ground. The soles of the feet stay flat. There's no lifting of the heels. So it's really a much smaller motion than people think. It's just like leave about 10% on the back and 10% from the edge of the ball of the foot to the center. And don't go to those, I call it the danger zone, that's when you can lose your balance.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to turn the recording off now, and thank you guys for coming.